That's right. So I discovered that this movie was on YouTube free movie section. First of all, this is Cube. I had no idea that there was a free section on YouTube. I'm going to be honest with you. I had no idea. I had no fucking clue that there was a free movie section on YouTube. I looked up where to watch this movie, and it said it was on YouTube for free. And I was like... And then I watched it last night for free. So anyway, Cube. This is a great movie. I mean, I remember liking this movie when I first watched it many, many moons ago. But honestly, on the rewatch, this movie, really good. It's really good. So first of all, my favorite part of this film is that it starts and ends inside the Cube maze, inside the torture simulator, right? You start the movie in the Cube. You end the movie as they're exiting the Cube, and then there's no, and then happily ever after. There's no, you start and end in the Cube, and that's amazing. That's again, they don't tell you any more than you need to know, and that's what brings about why this movie is so good, in my opinion. Now, I want to watch Cube 2 and 3, and also, I am under the understanding that there's a Japanese remake of Cube that came out last year, and it is impossible to find anywhere. So if anyone can find the Japanese 2021 Cube, let me know, please. But anyway, so this movie, first of all, if you've seen this movie, you know all cops are bastards. All cops are bastards, motherfucker. Can we talk about how in this movie they made the cop the bad guy? I mean, first of all, duh, right? But oftentimes in movies, cops are portrayed as the good guys, right? Because movies love to promote propaganda and propaganda for the rich and powerful. Oftentimes. This movie doesn't fuck around. The cop is the bad guy. The cop is a lunatic. The cop is a self-absorbed prick motherfucker. So let's talk about this cop, right? I hate cops, so I'm gonna take this movie review in the anti-cop direction, and then we'll. So the cop, 1, starts to boss people around. 2, claims that he's got supernatural abilities, right? I can read people. It's my job to read people like an X-ray. Bro, settle the fuck down. You are trapped in a maze, motherfucker. You're dumb as hell, right? But the movie is great because again, it's only in the Cube. It only takes place in the Cube. There's no outside context. You don't know anything about the characters outside of the fact that they're in the Cube, and that's why it's great. So the movie starts, right? And over the course of the movie, the characters slowly start to unravel. Now again, one of the plot points in this movie, I just slipped with my foot. I'm sorry if I made a noise. Is that there's several people in the maze, in the Cube maze, and they all have unique abilities that when they work together, they could get out of the maze. And so the goal is for them to get out of the Cube maze, right? And while doing that, they turn on each other. Why? Mostly because of the cop. The cop's a psycho. The cop's a fucking psycho. If you are ever trapped in a maze with a cop, you know what to do. Watch Cube and learn a lesson. If you are trapped in a maze with a cop, you need to get rid of the cop ASAP. Get rid of him ASAP. Because cops are fucking crazy. So anyway, one of the characters that they meet happens to be, quote unquote, mentally handicapped, right? And so his character is that, he doesn't have conversations and he stims a lot, right? But he also happens to be really good at math. He's able to do complex mathematical calculations in an instant. That's his ability, okay? But they don't realize that until near the end of the movie. And so the whole time, right, all the characters really, except for the cop, and some of the characters got annoyed with him, which is unfortunate, but the cop was extremely ableist and grotesque, right, against the quote unquote mentally handicapped individual, and threatened to kill him just because he would quote slow them down. But then as soon as they realized that he was really good at math, then all of a sudden, the cop is his best friend, right? So, again, cops only care about you if you're useful. If you're not useful, they will step on you. So one of the other characters, my favorite character was the doctor. I think her name was like Holloway or something. The blonde doctor. Anyway, she's like an anti-establishment person. She's like saying that the military-industrial complex created the cube and stuff, and then the cop is like, my favorite part of this movie, I mean, I have a lot of favorite parts, but one of my favorite parts of the movie is when the cop is like, you know, like, without us, without people like me, your society would crumble. Like, this guy is like so full of himself, right? But he's a cog on the machine. He's a fascist bootlicker, right? But anyway, so they try a bunch of times to get out of the cube. Eventually, the cop ends up killing pretty much everyone because he's a cop, and that's what the only thing cops are good at is torture and murder. That's it. They have no other skill set. They're only good at torture. They're only good at murder. And this movie is a really good example of that. So anyway, trying to get out of the cube, right? There's a lot of these rooms that are like have traps in them. So they have to like figure out how to get around the traps and so on and so forth. And the cop ends up killing half the characters because he's a fucking psychopath lunatic, right? And he slowly goes crazy and tries to kill everyone. And then they have to fight each other to get rid of the cop. So I love it. This is a good movie. If you only look at the plot line of the cop being the bad guy, this is a good movie. This is a good movie, right? It's just really good. Like, but the thing about the movie that's really good is, again, the cube maze, the environment, the set is really cool, right? It's a maze, right? And the maze has traps, but then also, whoever is in charge of this maze put the cop in the maze as another trap. That's the trap, right? Like, not only do rooms have flamethrowers that will burn you alive, and acid that's going to fucking melt your body, and spikes that are going to turn you into, like, mush, but also there's a cop, right? Like really, what's worse? A trap with spikes and flamethrowers, or a motherfucking cop who's manipulating your psyche? I'm just going to be honest here. I'll take a trap with flamethrowers than a cop any day of the week. A cop is unpredictable. A cop is a fucking torture fiend. A cop is a lunatic. A cop is a powerful fucking enemy. A flamethrower trap? I can deal with a flamethrower trap. I can walk around the fucking flamethrowers, motherfucker. Anyway, so I love how this movie makes the cop the bad guy. But also, again, this is just a really good horror film. And one of the ways that this horror film is so good is because it doesn't tell you what you don't need to know. And one of the things I don't like about horror movies, I don't dislike it, but I prefer the cube style, like of not giving you information that you don't need, right? Like, a lot of horror movies, they'll have like a part of the movie where some character explains like the plot, right? Like the supernatural parts, or this is, they explain like why ghosts are there, or they explain like how this happened, right? We don't need that. And that's what Cube excels at. They throw you in, and as soon as they get out of the cube, the movie ends. You have no context that you don't need to know. And that's why it's such a good movie. Now, again, I saw Cube 2 and 3 a long time ago. They're not on YouTube for streaming for free, so I'll watch them whenever I get the opportunity. And I do really want to watch the Japanese remake, because I'm sure it's really good. But again, this movie is just really good. It's an experimental horror film, right? And it does a really good job at it. They don't tell you what you don't need to know. They give you just enough information to be able to follow the plot, right? And again, the main anxiety-inducing aspect of the movie is watching all the people tear each other apart. And the only reason they did so is because of the cop. Without the cop, everyone would have been friends. Everyone would have been happy. But the cop ruined everything. If you are ever stuck in a maze, in a life-or-death situation with a cop, get as far away from that motherfucker as soon as possible. That's my recommendation. If you're ever in the cube and you see a cop, get the fuck out. But anyway, really good movie. I don't want to turn this whole review into me hating cops, but I do. Any movie that has like cops being the bad guy, you know what I'm gonna say when it comes to the review. But anyway, Cube, it's great, it's good, I like it, you should watch it. It's free on YouTube. Free on YouTube. Go watch it, check it out, highly recommended. There's Cube. There you go. Anyway, that's the stream for today. That's the show. for today.